Mona, you had a question there.
Just want to say that Ireland is at the bottom of the league in terms of investment in arts and culture. In 2012, the Council of Europe data showed that the spending on arts in that year was 0.1% of GDP. The European average is 0.6%. For a country that has such a rich tradition of arts and culture, such a long history of artists and in recent years filmmakers and writers, this thing is not
Okay, arts, May.
Yeah, can I say that I'm a member of Backstage Theatre here, so I'm acutely aware of what Mona is saying in relation to funding for the arts. And in fact, only very recently we managed, with Mona's direction, to meet with the local authority, and there is now an agreed figure of core funding for this facility for the next 5 years. But that's the first time since Backstage, the jewel in the crown, by the way, of the theatre and the arts in the Midlands, as far as I'm concerned. So that was good. But from the perspective of investment into the future, the Arts Council seem to direct its funding mainly towards the cities. And we need to get a commitment, and I certainly would, in government, get a commitment, working with whoever I would have to work with, and my experience would tell me you can always do these things, to get at least 30 million worth of funding from the Arts Council on an annual basis to ensure that facilities like this can thrive.
So
there are many other things.
I mean, as a Westmeath man, it kills me to say that Backstage is the envy of both Longford and Westmeath. Like, we only would wish Westmeath had something like Backstage. As
you can't have it as well, you have enough.
You have
and so the Green Party in their manifesto, they're pledging 30 million towards the arts, which is going towards, obviously, taking back the money that was stripped back from the Arts Council, from Culture Ireland and from the Irish Film Board over the last 5 years during Fine Gael's government, which is all about, as we know, commodifying, focusing on commerce, not focusing on the arts or society, unfortunately. The other innovative idea is a new fund, a matching fund. So any rural area that earns via Facebook or anything else, or a collection between £2,000 and £10,000, the government will automatically match that money if it's going for arts. The other thing is, you remember the success of the 1% for the arts, which Sheila was extolling the Irish in the Longford Leader recently about, you got your beautiful big violin or your double bass. That worked very well. So we're proposing 2% for every development. 2% of space in any large-scale development should be given over to a small art space or some other, like in kind that's focused on the arts. And our final thing is making Culture Ireland independent again. Because as Mona said, so many productions that either started here in Backstage, such as Fabulous Beast, and other sort of companies that visited Backstage, went on to represent Ireland internationally because of the work of Culture Ireland. So give them that power and independence.
I'll let you in, Connie, then.
No, I just want to say I wholeheartedly agree with you that culture is something that should be invested in. I think now that things are starting to pick up, we should be lobbying for more money for cultural facilities and activities, and we do have a lot. And we have the Backstage here, obviously, and we have Mullingar Arts Centre, and we have the Dean Crowe Theatre and the Little Theatre in Athlone. And not only are they amazing facilities for people to use, but they also are part of the job creation. And it has kind of made the Midlands a cultural hub, if you like, and it's something we should be promoting from a tourism point of view.
Donald, come on in and we'll move this along really quickly.
I get this question 3 times a week from a daughter of mine that's a member of the Shakespeare Academy in London as to why there's nothing. When she was starting off, she was trying to go into Trinity to get started, but then they closed down the course, so she had to go to London. And I think that tax incentive is a way to drive the arts and culture in this country. But you have problems from Europe immediately when you start talking about giving tax allowances for specifics. But it's one way of doing it. Would I support giving them money? Of course. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to go home.
Okay. Paul, do you want to make a quick point in relation? I'm conscious that candidates here have to go to the Shannon stage and it's on 1:30, so we'll have to move this.
Thanks very much, Sheila. Just to answer Mona's question and to be as brief as I can, I think it's a damning indictment of this government. When you look back 100 years ago and you look at the leaders of 1916, and in many of those, the signatories of the 1916 proclamation were involved in the arts and culture. 100 years on, we still have no adequate investment in the arts and culture. I was at an exhibition last night in Mullingar, an art exhibition, and it was in aid of Pieta House, and it was fantastic to listen to the range of speakers, you know, and really pushing out the very positive message that's coming from the arts and culture, and all they're looking for is adequate investment. And I think that is absolutely crucial to that sector.
Okay.
You know, when you look at artists and poets and those involved in literature and everything else, I think it needs to be supported.
Our party, Fianna Fáil, are looking at creating a national art strategy for all, and there is money being set aside for investment into art. And I have to say, when Micheál Martin visited here a few weeks ago, I actually commented on his knowledge of the arts, and he did indicate that it's very close, something that he is very passionate about. So I would say that's a plus in that regard. But one of the things in that strategy will be to ensure that local authorities implement a local arts action plan which benefits local communities. Now, I see the benefits of the local arts for young people especially, and I see my own members of my own children involved in it. And I'd love to see it as being a pathway to some kind of progression for them as well, as a kind of a career path. His father might prefer if he was into farming, but he's not. And I would love to see children growing up with an appreciation for the arts. And we have an arts officer here in Longford, and we could actually be doing a little bit more for ourselves here in Longford. And I just want to mention the U2 funded music generation programme. There was huge funding there back for 3-4 years. The funding has come round again. There wasn't one bit of interest in Longford about that music generation funding, which was available to us through the VEC at the time or the local authority. Was it applied for? No. Was there an appetite? No. Did I try to drive it? Yes. Would anyone listen? No. I'm hoping it's coming round again now, and it is absolutely fundamentally important that we try and secure it.
One of my first duties was when the Minister, Heather Humphreys, was appointed Minister for the Arts. I brought her here to Longford, brought her to Backstage. I'm delighted to say that there has been, since then, there's been considerable funding invested in the arts and libraries here in County Longford. We have new libraries in Granard, Ballymahan, and we also got, only last week, I was delighted to deliver £1.25 million for a new library and arts centre in the heart of Belcherstown. And I have been supporting the arts all along, and I'm proud of my record in delivering funding for the arts here for County Longford.
I took part in a fundraiser for Backstage Theatre, The Stars in My Eye. It was an absolutely amazing experience. It had been a long time since I had been on the stage, but it again was another opportunity of taking part in the arts. And as Connie said, our young children benefit from this enormously, and it carries up through their lives, and it should be invested in, because we have, our poets, our actors, our musicians, our singers, they all benefit from the arts. Our stage production, the guys here, it's all art, and it must be invested in. So I would absolutely be in favour of increasing funding for that.
Okay, that's it then. So